Welcome back to Weed Wednesdays. Today we're going to talk a little bit about quack grass. So quack grass is a perennial grass. It's native to Europe and Asia. A recent survey estimated that 56% of Canadian farmland has quack grass in some amount, whether it's abundant or just the odd plants here and there. 56% of Canadian farmland has it to some extent. Now, as a perennial grass, it can be pretty difficult to control. So in these situations, there's well-documented yield losses well over 50%. So quack grass has actually been dropping in abundance here in Manitoba. Back in the late 90s, 1997, it was actually the 10th most abundant weed in the surveys. Today, it's roughly number 60. It's really been disappearing over the years. So ID-wise, when we're looking forward in the spring, it's obviously, as a perennial, it's going to be bigger than a lot of those annual grasses. Around the stem, because I can't find any in this exact field, we'll try to throw a picture up right there. It has these clasping auricles that go around the stem, as well as a very, very small membranous ligule that can sometimes be hard to see. So quack grass can be infected with numerous cereal diseases. As a grass, it kind of hosts those same rusts and those sort of diseases. It can also host similar pests like armyworms that are giving your cereal crops trouble. As a drought-tolerant plant, quack grass actually goes partially dormant throughout the summer. So when we're talking about control, we want to be applying first thing in the spring or last thing in the fall. To me personally, I'd prefer in the fall, as we're applying a translocated herbicide. In the fall, perennial plants like to send carbohydrates down to the roots, and the herbicide will go right along with it. Controlling quack grass with tillage can be a bit more of a toss-up. More shallow tillage can really just stimulate the rhizomes and cause new shoots to form. When we're getting those new shoots, sometimes they're delayed, so you can even see decreased performance from your herbicides if you incorporate tillage. So controlling quack grass with tillage can be a bit of a toss-up. If you're using shallow tillage systems, you might actually just disturb the rhizomes, and by doing so, stimulate new shoots to grow. In doing that, sometimes those shoots can be delayed, so depending on how your herbicide is timed, you might actually see poorer control when you're incorporating shallow tillage. Now, to counter that point, if you've got something like a moldboard plow and you're tilling really deep, you can uproot that entire plant and you would see more success that way. Now, in terms of chemical control, our good old friend glyphosate, high rates of glyphosate properly timed, ideally in the fall, actually provides really good control. Group 1 herbicides can see some success, so Quizalofop products, that's the active ingredient, usually do a pretty good job. As always with group 1s, adjuvant is super important. Read the label, whichever product you choose, just read the label, add the adjuvant it says, and you're gonna get the best results. So some group 2 herbicides have grassy activity as well. In the context of corn, we're talking about nickel-sulfuron, which I believe might be discontinued now, and rim-sulfuron that do a fairly good job on quack grass. The important thing to remember here is that atrazine, another commonly used tank mix partner, actually has an antagonistic effect on some of these products. So if you're targeting quack grass, don't add the atrazine, just mix it in with glyphosate and you're good to go. We're gonna leave it there on quack grass for today. If you've got any questions about quack grass or any other weed issues you're seeing in your fields, leave us a message on any of these platforms and we'll be sure to get back to you. Stay tuned for the next one.